G'day everyone. My name's Oren Thomas. I am a Principal Cloud Advocate here at Microsoft, or wherever we are. And today I am going to talk to you about Azure Governance and Management. Okay, so if you go to aka.ms/MCO20, you will find the slides and all of the videos that are a part of this presentation. So rather than worrying about taking some photos of the screen, you can get it all for yourself later. Okay, so acceleration, velocity, speed, these are all awesome things about the cloud. Cloud allows you to do things really, really quickly. It allows you to move fast. But have you ever seen a little kid running down a hill? They start off and it's this big hill and they're looking down it and they're going, this is great, and they're running, the arms are going. And there's a moment when that look of joy becomes a look of terror because they've got no idea how to stop. And they're either going to start somersaulting down that hill or they're going to run right down to the bottom of the hill, into the lake at the bottom, and they're going to smash into some ducks. Moving fast and breaking things is fantastic until the thing you break is your neck. So that's what this session's about. It's about governance. It's about making sure that you do not break your neck in the cloud. It's about looking at things like cost management to make sure that you don't get a bill that absolutely staggers your company. It's about making sure that things are going to be deployed in a way that ensures that they've got a secure baseline so that you're not deploying virtual machines with every port and their dog open to the world. It's about making sure that your resources are consistent, that you're not deploying a VM that's this size over here, a VM that's that size over there, that you've got a consistent naming scheme. It's about making sure you've got a correct identity baseline, and it's making sure that you can use the cloud at a speed that is safe rather than dangerous. So Tailwind Traders is a fictional company that we're hanging a lot of our narrative on. They're meant to be every company in the world, or no company. But by coming up with a fictional name, we're not blaming anybody. And what we're going to do in this particular session is I'm going to go through some of their challenges and I'm going to demonstrate how they can solve them. The first is a lack of visibility in what their environment is, just due to the ability to deploy everything as quickly as possible. Suddenly they've ended up with a whole lot of stuff and it's getting a bit beyond them. How do they stop things being accidentally deleted? Because again, what happens, it's like any of you who've got a teenager know that their room is not exactly always in the best of states. And that when a teenager cleans up their room, sometimes the approach is, rather than sorting it, they sort of pick everything up and throw it in the bin. Well, that's the same with people with cloud sprawl. I've seen organisations where they've gone, oh gosh, our bill's huge. What are we going to do? Well, let's just start deleting stuff. They've got PCI DSS compliance concerns. And I imagine that a lot of you have compliance concerns against specific security standards. And they want to know how to have governance at scale. They want to put in place a set of policies, a set of procedures, a set of rules that means that in future they're not sitting there worrying about whether or not rules are being followed, that by default with a new subscription, the rules will be in place and the rules will be followed because they're going to be enforced. So I'm going to start and talk a bit about the first problem. So Tailwind Traders has multiple teams in multiple locations working across multiple subscriptions, which means that no single person or team knows the details of absolutely every workload that's been deployed. So how on earth does Tailwind Traders get visibility into that complex deployment? Let me introduce you to Azure Resource Graph. So here I am in the Azure console. And in the search bar, I type resource and then I click Resource Graph Explorer. And this brings up the Resource Graph Explorer, which looks like a very traditional type of Microsoft console, where we see stuff on one side and then some windows on the other. So what I'm interested in here is using Resource Graph Explorer to get visibility into all of the virtual machines that exist across all of my subscriptions. Because this will work against all subscriptions that are connected to the same back-end as your Active Directory instance. So here, I'm going down and I'm expanding this virtual machines instance. Now, if you click on these, it will go and populate the query pane. Or you can paste your own query in using the query language. So here we've got where type is Microsoft-compute/virtual machines. Give me a count by operating system storage disk. And if I run that query, it will tell me that I've got 13 Linux machines and 13 Windows machines. I can also go and view charts, because not everybody likes looking at a table. Management tends to need to be a bit more visual. One might say that it's a bit more, as we say in Australia, it's a bit more Montessori for them. So here I'm selecting a bar chart, and oh look, pretty pictures, I can understand those. So I'm saving that query, I give it a name, I click save, and then when I've saved a query, I can pin it to the dashboard, because there is nothing management likes than a dashboard. And we can go further with dashboards. So here is an Azure inventory dashboard. And there's a whole lot of dashboards that are built into Azure that allows your boss to have all the colorful blocks they need to keep them happy until it's nap time at 2 o'clock. So here we see resource counts by type. We've got disks, we've got virtual machines, we can see our Azure Compute inventory, Azure Storage inventory, Azure Networking inventory, Azure SQL Database inventory, App Service inventory. And if we want to play around and we want to modify the way that this dashboard works, we can click into one of these boxes like we do here, and we can then go and modify the query that generates those graphics. So all you do is you just make your dashboard so big, so complicated, and most importantly, so colorful that management won't ask you any difficult questions. Anyway, in that demo, I quickly showed you how you could get some visibility into your cloud sprawl so that you would understand at a very high level what's actually going on across all of your subscriptions. So, explore your resources. Get visibility into your Azure resources and subscriptions across management groups. So a management group can be a collection of all of your subscriptions or a collection of some of your subscriptions. But they're all backed into the same Active Directory instance. So if you've ever wondered about this, if you've got, say, 2 trial subscriptions, and you've just spun them up, those free trial subscriptions, the way that you join them together is you get the second subscription and you make sure that you've got an account that will work across both subscriptions. You invite the other account into that one, and then you give it permissions, and then you change the default directory to be the one of the first subscriptions. And then they're joined, and then they will form, or can form, a management group. We're doing an Azure governance session on Wednesday that actually will explain the process of creating a management group. It allows you to access information you need through the portal for management because it's visual, or if you're more of the nerd type, through CLI or PowerShell. It allows you to find assets based on the properties of the resource, and you can dig in. You can also use things such as tags, which we'll talk about in a moment. You can run queries, you can analyze. You can assess the impact of applying policies before you put those policies into practice. So, here's the second problem. I was talking about cloud sprawl. We've all been there if we've got a fairly mature or a moderately mature subscription. I've been there as a consultant where someone's come to me and said, we've done this, how do we undo it? Someone has been asked and screamed at, save us some money. This subscription's costing us too much. And what they've done is they've looked at all the VMs in the subscription and they've gone, well, that one looks like it's idle. Hasn't done anything for 3 weeks. I can go and delete that. Except for this particular VM was used at the end of the month to perform reconciliation of all the organisation's accounts. So it was basically comatose for 3 weeks, and then on the last day of the month, it did a whole lot. Now, if you were being smart in the way that you set this up, of course you'd have the VM actually shut down all the time, except for when it needed to run. But we also know that good practice and what we do in real life, it's kind of like that flight from Australia. It's a long flight, believe me. So, how does Tailwind Traders prevent accidental changes and allow ops to understand that a specific resource shouldn't be deleted without actually asking someone about it? Let me do a demonstration of locks and tags. So here I am in the console, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to delete a resource group. You go into the resource group, you click Delete Resource Group. The only sanity check you've got is, can you type the name that is already displayed in the browser? So easy that someone with a C at the front of their title can probably do it. We click Delete. It goes, and it's gone. And if someone's doing it from Cloud Shell, they can do it without the confirmation. Okay, so how do we stop that sort of thing from happening? What we can do is we can go and put a lock. So we go to locks, we click Add Lock, so we give the lock a name. We give the lock a type, and I'll explain what the difference between these lock types is in a minute. Here I'm saying it's a delete lock, and then I'm putting a note on it. Do not delete. FSS production systems. I click OK. So now I come back, I click Delete Resource Group, I provide the name of the resource group, and these are all the resources in it. I click Delete and it says, no, you can't do that. You're not allowed to delete that resource group. But someone might be confused. Why can't I delete that resource group? So this is where tags come in. Tags are a way of applying metadata to something. You've got a label and a value for that label. The label is what it is, the value is what it means. So here I'm going to add a tag to this resource group. I give the tag a name, FSS, production, financially significant systems productions, and the value is, don't delete this. Click Save. It assigns the tag to the resource group. So if I go and look at my resource groups now, I click Refresh, there's a new column that's come up here. It says, do not delete. So what we've done is we've put a lock on it, and we've put a label explaining the lock. So now, if that resource group is deleted, it's either a malicious act, an act of stupidity, or a combination of both. Now, resource locks, all resources within the scope of the lock inherit the same lock. So if I apply a lock at the subscription level, everything under that gets it. If I just do it at the resource group level, everything under that gets it. You've got two settings, if you remember. Cannot delete means that an authorized user can still read and modify a resource, but they can't delete the resource. And read only means authorized users can only view it, but they can't modify any of the properties of the resource. Tagging is metadata assigned to you as your resources, allows you to organize those according to your own taxonomy. All a taxonomy is you come up with a set of meaningful descriptions for your organization that allows people to easily identify what's going on. I suggest you don't do this in hexadecimal. You have a tag and you have a value. And then you can view resources based on tag and value so that you can go in and look at your subscriptions, your management groups. All of those subscriptions say, show me everything related to Project Hovercraft. And when you do that, it'll just show you all those resources related to that. And tags are really good because suddenly, especially when you've got cloud sprawl, when you've got people putting resources everywhere across multiple subscriptions, and you're trying to figure out, you know, we just fired everybody in the sailboats department. How do we get rid of all of their resources? Well, if it's all tagged, it's very identifiable what those resources are. So, how does Tailwind Traders ensure that all resources in a resource group have the appropriate tag? Because you saw me turn that on. But what you didn't see is that everything underneath that tag, unlike a lock which is inherited by everything under an object doesn't inherit the tag. So let me show you through tagging remediation and policy how to do that. So here I am in the Azure console. I've got my TTRG Demo 1B resource group. And I click policies. So what's a policy? A policy is a set of rules, or a rule. An initiative is a set of rules. It's something that you want done. In this case, the rule might be something like make sure a tag exists. So what I do is I go to definitions here. I go to my category of definitions, I scroll down, and I select tags. And these are all of the policies that are built into Azure related to tags. So here I've got one inherit a tag from a resource group if it's missing, add or replace a tag on a resource group, inherit a tag from the resource group. And that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that every object in a resource group, all I have to do is put a tag on the resource group, and every object under that resource group also picks up the tag. So I click on that, and here I can see the policy definition. So there is a whole lot of code that you can go and configure, and I'll point you to a GitHub repository in a moment that's actually got a whole lot of extra tags beyond those which are actually built into Azure. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to accept that default definition, and I'm going to click Assign. When I assign it, I'm assigning that policy to an object within. So I select my scope. So my scope for a policy can be at the management group level, at the subscription group level, or at the resource group level. So here I'm choosing a specific subscription, and here I'm choosing a specific resource group. I click Select, and that applies it. If I want, I can go and exclude specific resources from that policy. It gives me the basics, and I provide a description. Always provide descriptions where possible, because you might get hit by a bus tomorrow, and the less brilliant people in your organisation may be left to pick up the pieces. Because we know that, you know, maybe you're the smartest person in the organisation, or maybe there's a reason you're here and there's other people still back at work. So here we put in a tag name, FSS production, and we specify where it's going to be kept, in this case, East US. So we create the policy assignment. So we can look at that, we can go back to our resource group, we can select our resource group, we can click compliance, we can wait for that policy to apply, and sometimes it can take half an hour to an hour for policies to apply. We can scroll down, inherit a tag from the resource group, and then suddenly we find that there's a whole lot of non-compliant resources. So what we've done is we've applied the policy, but that actually hasn't applied the tag. All it said is that a tag should be applied. So to fix that, what we do is we create what's called a remediation task. And the remediation task does the grunt work and says, these are all of the resources in that particular scope that don't have this policy applied. We're going to apply that policy to them. So I click remediate, and it goes and creates a task that will then go through and apply that. So we come back, it's complete, and we can see, bang, that tag has now gone through all of those resources in that resource group and applied that label and policy. Okay, so Azure policies. A policy is a rule that will be enforced, and it can be any rule that you enforce in Azure. A policy can be limit virtual machine deployment to specific SKUs, limit virtual machine deployment to specific regions. anything that you can describe in Azure. Limit virtual network creation to particular locations. Again, in the Azure Governance Fundamentals session that is on Wednesday, Anthony will take you through all of the basics of how this works. An initiative is merely a collection of policies, a collection of rules. So rather than applying this policy, this policy, this policy, this policy, you put them all in an initiative and apply them at once. And the assignment is the scope to which the policy applies. The assignment can be at a management group level, subscription level, or a resource group level. So they allow you to enforce compliance, because what you can do through policies and initiatives is you can apply that set of rules, that set of guidelines, the thing that stops the kid running down the hill fast, or at least covers them in Nerf so that when they do fall, it's going to be more amusing than screams and hospital visits. It allows you to do real-time policy evaluation and enforcement. So what you can do is you can evaluate resources in a subscription to determine whether or not they meet the conditions of those rules. And this is very important when we get to compliance in a sec. It allows you to perform this periodically, because you know that new things are being added all the time to your subscription. And you might want to be alerted if something is deployed to a subscription that doesn't meet the rules. You can configure policies to block some things from being deployed. Sometimes it depends on the type of resource. You might only need to be alerted. There's also policy integration for Azure Kubernetes services. You can apply them to management groups, multiple policies. You can exclude particular resources, and you can do policy as code with Azure DevOps. You can remediate existing resources at scale, and you saw me do a remediation with a particular policy. You can automatically remediate resources at deployment times. So again, in Anthony's session, you'll see him put in place a policy that says unless you tag this resource when you deploy it, don't allow deployment to occur. And then you can trigger alerts as well when a resource gets out of compliance. For example, you deploy a VM and you put a policy in place that says, right, you can only deploy this VM if it's a particular SKU. But what happens if someone tries to modify the size of that VM after it's deployed? Well, then it might be that you only get an alert about it. So if you go to github.com/Azure/Azure-policy, you will see a stack of pre-configured policies. I suggest before you start working on your own policies, you actually go through this resource, because you will find that there's a lot of people who have spent a lot of time going out and building policies. So it's not just what's available within the console. You can go much further than that, and there's a whole lot of stuff that's pre-built. If it's not already pre-built, then again, you could go and build it, and maybe you'll commit it back to that particular repo. So, Tailwind Traders deals with payment card data. They deal with credit cards that are used to order stuff on their website. Now, PCI DSS isn't the law, but PCI DSS is a standard that's followed by Visa, MasterCard, Amex. And as far as they're concerned, unless you follow PCI DSS, they're not going to go and deal with you. So it might as well be the law, even though no government's actually going to enforce it. So originally, Tailwind Traders, like most organisations, had an on-prem data centre, and that's how they handled all their e-commerce. But they moved everything to the cloud. And the cloud has a slightly different set of requirements in terms of compliance compared to what they had when they were on-prem. So how do they make sure that they're PCI DSS compliant? I mean, obviously they can bring in an auditor to tell them whether or not they are, but wouldn't it be good to know beforehand? Wouldn't it be great to know before the auditor comes, and that you can go and fix all the obvious stuff, so that if the auditor's picking you up on something, they're picking you up on a minute little detail that you can deal with, rather than looking at it going, well, this is a complete bloody mess, isn't it? So what I'll show you is how to audit PCI DSS compliance across a particular subscription and the VM resources that exist within that subscription. So here I am in the Azure console. I click on TTRG Demo 2B. I click on Policies. I click on Assignments. Sorry, Assign Initiative. So here, Microsoft has built out a PCI DSS initiative that's a big set of rules that allows you to assess whether or not the resources deployed in a subscription are compliant with the PCI DSS standards or not. So here, I select my initiative definition. Here, I'm looking at the built-in ones. And I select Audit PCI 3.2.1 2018, which is the version of the PCI standard, and deploy specific VM extensions. Because the way that Tailwind Traders has done it in this case is Tailwind Traders did a lift and shift of an existing application. Now, it's easy enough with something like PCI DSS to check what's going on in the subscription itself. Is multi-factor authentication turned on? Are certain permissions applied? But when you're doing a PCI DSS audit, the other thing that needs to be done, especially if you're running VMs, is that the audit needs to go and look inside the VMs to see how they're configured as well. And what this will do is it'll flag and help you install the necessary extensions to assess the state of your VMs, as well as assessing the state of your subscription. So we select that, we click select, we give it a description. We see that there are 46 different resource types that'll be assessed. We click assign. It creates initiative assignment. We then wait for that to go and apply. We click refresh. So we come back and check it. So we click on Audit PCI. We see that it's not started, and then after about half an hour to an hour, we see that the compliance state is not compliant. And at the top of the list, we see all the not compliant resources. So if we scroll down, we see that some of our resources are actually compliant with PCI DSS. So they're good, and they're things like external accounts with read permission to be removed from your subscription. Well, apparently there are none compliant with that. So we scroll back up, and we look at the non-compliant resources. And we can see that they're all related to the internal configuration of VMs. So the first one is deploy prerequisites so that VMs can actually be audited by this process. So to remediate that, we can click on the policy and just those policies are, and we can click create remediation task. So here it's telling us, well, we've got all of these VMs. We click remediate, and what it does is it goes and creates all of the necessary automation to inject the necessary tools into those VMs to determine whether or not those VMs running in that subscription are compliant with PCI DSS as it exists as a standard. So in that demonstration, I showed you how to audit PCI DSS compliance. Now, the other thing to realize about this is it doesn't mean that it can completely remediate it. To a certain extent, you're going to have to, especially with VMs, go into the VM manually and reconfigure the VM so that it's compliant. There's certain things that we can automate, and there's going to be certain things where you're going to have to manually fix those settings so that the VM is now compliant. You don't want everything automated for you because, again, if everything's automated for you, you're probably not as necessary as you'd hope to be. Whereas if there's still stuff that you've got to be the smart one in the room for, well, you've got a job and you're not going to get promoted to management. So, how does Tailwind Traders ensure that each new subscription and every resource deployed to those subscriptions aligns with the PCI DSS standard? Well, let me show you how Azure Blueprints works. So here I am in the Azure console, and in the search bar, I type blueprints, and this is by far the easiest way to find anything in Azure, is up through the search bar. Believe it or not, powered by Bing. Here, I'm selecting creating a blueprint. Now, when I create a blueprint, I've got the option of starting with a blank blueprint, or I can use one that's built in. So if you scroll down here, you can see a whole lot of blueprints that are related to things such as ISO 27001, UK official, UK NHS, and PCI DSS 3.2.1. So I select PCI DSS 3.2.1. You give the blueprint a name. So what we're doing is we've taken a template, we're giving the copy of a template a name. I specify where I want to store it. I'm storing it in a particular management group. Now I'm looking at the artifacts. So what this is all of the rules that are going to be checked within the template. So one of them is deploy threat protection on SQL servers, require encryption on data lake accounts, all of these rules that allow you to be compliant with that particular standard. I save a draft of that template. So once I have done that, I can then open that draft and I can publish it. So this is important. Before you can use a template, you've got to publish it. So I click publish, I give it a version, and I specify notes about the template. I click publish. It publishes the template. I go back to the blueprint. I refresh, and I can see that it's ready to deploy. So I select the blueprint. I click assign the blueprint, and it says, well, where do you want to assign this blueprint? Now, I can assign it to a subscription, and that's a subscription that exists within that management group that I applied it to. I specify which version I want to go with. I've only done the one, so I'll go V1. And then I look at the lock assignment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select Do Not Delete, and I'll explain what Do Not Delete means in a sec. I'll leave the managed identity at default. So here I'm starting to fill it out. Okay, so one of the aspects of PCI DSS is, have you restricted where things can be deployed in the cloud? So this is North America. What I'm going to do is, through this blueprint, configure the blueprint so that anything deployed in that subscription can only be deployed in a North American data center. Can't be deployed in Australia, can't be deployed in Singapore, can't be deployed in Europe. So here I go through and select the regions that I want. So I'm selecting all of the US regions. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that auditing is not only turned on for the SQL servers, because auditing must be enabled as part of this standard. I'm specifying the storage location for that auditing data. I save it, and then it assigns the blueprint. So that means that with that particular subscription, from now on, all resources that are assigned to that subscription are going to be following all of the rules, all of the policies that are configured as part of that blueprint. So let me show you a bit about how blueprints work. The idea of a blueprint is it's not just about creating rules. You can do creation of other things as well, and I'll talk about those in a sec. But the idea is that it gives you a quick way of applying a whole set of rules, artifacts, and so on to a new subscription. You can add resources, policies, and role-based access control through a blueprint. You can also track your updates to blueprints. So you might have a version 1, a version 2, and a version 3, and then see which subscriptions are compliant with which versions of the template. The idea of blueprints is that you can come up with all the rules, you can stick them in a blueprint, you can apply it to a subscription, and then you can allow your developers or whoever to go and put resources in those subscriptions knowing that all of the correct rules are being applied, rather than manually going into each subscription and then manually configuring each rule that needs to be applied to that subscription. You can leverage integration with Azure Policy in the DevOps life cycle. The other thing is that you can lock foundational resources. When you do this, the resources cannot be changed by the subscription owner, and this is where blueprints are really cool. I'll explain this in a bit more in a minute, but basically what you can do is you can apply a blueprint to a subscription. You can let someone be a subscription owner, but they can't override the rules that you've applied through the blueprint. So again, that allows you to stay compliant. So how it works, you've got a cloud engineer and a cloud architect, and they decide that for a particular subscription, there should be a set of ARM templates that are going to be used, that there's a set of policy definitions or rules that are going to be applied to that subscription. For example, all of those rules that apply to PCI DSS. You'll have role-based access control. Role-based access control will be covered a bit more in the Azure governance session, but the idea of role-based access control is instead of everybody being an administrator, what you do is you say, no, I am going to limit you to a specific power. For example, you might say, I'm going to allow this group of people to be VM contributors on this resource group, which means that only the VMs that are in that resource group, they have VM contributor rights to. It doesn't mean that they can do everything to those VMs, but it limits them to those VMs. And as you'll see in a demo on Wednesday, should you go to that session, means that you might have 100 VMs in a subscription, but a particular user might be only able to see 10 of those VMs. And then custom scripts. You might have deployment scripts that should run to configure the subscription. You can again put them into a template. It allows you to apply that template to multiple subscriptions, which means that you can have a consistent set of rules applying to all of the subscriptions in your organization. It includes, from Microsoft by default, ISO 27001, PCI DSS, NIST, and so on. Now with locks, don't lock. You can apply a blueprint and you can say, oh, don't lock. And when you do that, the subscription's set up with those rules, but the subscription owner can go and change those rules. Do not delete means the resources can be modified because you can deploy a template and then it goes and creates, say, some VMs, but then those resources can be altered, but they can't be removed from the subscription. Read-only at the resource group level means that tags on the resource group cannot be modified, and no locked resources can be added, removed, or changed from the resource group. It also can't be removed by the subscription owner, so you can force the subscription owner and limit their power, even though they own the subscription. And read-only on a non-resource group means that the resource created by the blueprint, so the ARM template, the script, so on, can't be modified or can't be deleted. It's a set of rules that you're applying and you're saying, you must obey these rules. You must obey these controls. This is governance of your subscription. You can't get a subscription and do whatever you want in the subscription. By default, blueprints related to regulation that are included with Azure right now include AU Protected, which is an Australian standard, and those blueprints relate to IaaS web application and PaaS web applications. There's FedRAMP, which will apply to data analytics workloads, data warehouse workloads, IaaS and PaaS web applications. FFIEC, again, the same group. HIPAA, High Trust, will apply to health data and artificial intelligence applications. NIST SP 800-171 to analytics, warehouse, web application, and PaaS web application, and PCI DSS, which we just saw, that'll apply to all of those as well. So, to recap, in this session, Tailwind Traders solved the following cloud governance challenges. We looked at how they could get visibility into their environment by using Azure Resource Explorer and Graph, how they could block people from accidentally deleting critical resources, how they could ensure that they were PCI DSS compliant, and how they could apply governance at scale by using blueprints. Governance is all about guardrails. It's all great having we have an expression in Australia, and I don't know if you use it here, all accelerator and no brakes. Means a young man who's a bit too aggressive. And governance is a bit like that. It's about the maturity that takes a 17-year-old like my son and calms them down a bit so that they become a responsible member of society. Guardrails allow you to channel control, all of that freedom that a cloud entails, because a cloud does allow you to do everything. If you remember when Microsoft introduced the concept of the cloud, and they were talking about it, they were saying about people in the sales team deploying VMs because IT wouldn't allow them to. And I used to sit there and think, gosh, I wish I had salespeople like that in my company. These people can't find a light switch.